The Arknight's base is one of the most misunderstood aspects of the game, and there is a ton of misinformation out there about how to set up your base effectively. In this video, I hope to clear up many of those misunderstandings and provide a comprehensive overview of how you might want to stay based. But without further ado, let's get into the first and most important topic. What's up with 252? 252 is a method of setting up your base that is supposedly mathematically proven to be the most efficient. However, even from just a glance, any doctor such as you and I can tell that this is demonstrably false. I mean, just look at it. Who in their right minds is going to need 5 trading posts? It doesn't make any sense to sacrifice gold and XP production for the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals, maybe ever. The 252 setup also requires you to have an unupgraded human resources office, which may slightly annoy you, or lower level dormitories that produce less credits every day, which is something that annoys me because I too like to buy completely useless things that I will never use. These requirements are due to the fact that 252 features only 2 power plants, which is just unacceptable. We must rectify this immediately. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Many of you will be well aware that there are certain powerful operator combos that significantly improve your base if you can be to spare the 2 brain cells needed to learn them. To go over these, I'll be taking you on a quick tour of all the facilities and explain how you should assign your operators to get the best out of them. We'll start with the Human Resources Office, which, if you haven't already, can now be upgraded to level 3 due to our vastly more powerful base. A level 3 office, as opposed to a level 2 office, unlocks the 4th recruitment slot, which allows me to put in extra sniper tags because I'm a professional coper hoping to get a random platinum. Many others tell you to not upgrade your Human Resources Office because it then requires more power to operate, power which is better used in functional facilities. However, in our base, functionality is not an issue. The operator I would recommend putting in here is Scuddy because she's well known for being charismatic and sociable, key traits that are necessary for a human resources officer. If you don't have Scuddy, the next operator I would recommend is Granny, because she's already a human resources officer. I rate the office a "you look nice today" out of "I'm calling human resources." Next, let's take a look at the training room. How this works is that you select whoever you want to train and choose the skill. You'll then be prompted to use a skill book, and it's highly recommended to use one of the same color as the skill as you get a 1.5 XP multiplier. Unless you're using the Rainbow book, which has a 2 XP multiplier. Depending on the level of the book, you'll have to wait a certain length of time for it to finish, so while this is happening, I would recommend going back to Arknights, where you can use the training room to show off your OTP, and don't forget that you can also decide who is the top and bottom. The next time you visit people's reception rooms, I urge you to look at their training room to discover weird pairings that fuel the imagination in strange ways. I rate the training room a
"it's just beyond this door"
out of
like your Xbox and stuff.
Next up, we have the workshop, which is a classic example of how Rhodes Island has incredibly lax safety regulations because the safety barrier is on the wrong side of the room. The workshop is where you can combine low tier materials into more valuable ones, such as white horse coal, which I happen to have a video about if you need help with that. Some of you may be aware of a very powerful and efficient combo to gain byproducts in the workshop quickly, consisting of 9-colored deer and Fear Meta. Essentially, 9-colored deer makes a bunch of useless stuff until she's exhausted, retires to the dormitory where she has a quickie with Fear Meta, then goes back refreshed and actually does something. However, this combo has 2 problems. One is that not everyone has 9-colored deer because she is a limited time welfare unit, and the other is that everyone who has Fear Meta has her permanently in the training room with Mestima as their OTP, so I can't really recommend this strategy. Instead, I will double down on some advice I gave in an earlier video, which is that you should use Catapult in the workshop because of her 80% byproduct rate and be done with it. I rate the workshop an Aesthesia out of D32 steel. I mean, a D32 steel out of Aesthesia. I rate the workshop a D32 steel out of Aesthesia. The last right side facility is the reception room, which you should build because it allows you to simulate what having friends is like. Let's move on to dormitories. Now there are many different ways you can decorate your dormitories to give your operators a comfortable living space, and Arknights is nice enough to give you presets that max out your ambience levels automatically if you don't care about that kind of stuff. However, I like to throw fancy schmancy over the top living arrangements out the window in favor of a dorm like this, which allows my operators to play musical chairs. I like to sit here for hours on end and amuse myself by shoutcasting like it's a world championship. Our contestants are finally on the field and it looks like they're testing the waters, but right off the bat it seems like Blemishine is having a bit of trouble. Could this be a chance for the others? No, Glaucus is using this opportunity for a well-deserved break from that exoskeleton, though it remains to be seen if her power nap will pay off. Meanwhile, Fatu is looking extremely tilted by her performance yesterday and is considering getting the out of here. No, she strengthens her resolve and rejoins the fight. On the other side, Blemishine being a bit confused. I'm pretty sure she's meant to be putting enemies to sleep, not herself, but perhaps this is some new tech that she's developed. But a curveball! After her power nap, Glaucus doesn't feel the need to sit down anymore and is flaunting her restored energy in front of Horn, who is doing what she does best, looking extremely angry in the corner for no apparent reason. And oh, what is this blatant disrespect from Fartooth, sleeping like how everyone slept on her ability to ignore dodge. Oh, but there's an opening. Myrtle, the DP printing queen, she's eyeing the prize. She's got her sights set on the crown, casually dropping into the position. Oh, what is this, Myrtle? Are you serious? You can't just waltz in like that. Now, before we go to the control center, I do want to touch on how to set up your power plants. Now that you have 9 of them, it might be a bit difficult to understand what is going on. First of all, one of the purposes of having 9 power plants is that every power plant generates 1 drone every 6 minutes, and this rate is increased when you have an operator assigned to the power plant, even if that operator doesn't have any related base skills. Now, the reason we need 9 power plants all generating drones is because I'm trying to single-handedly bring back East Armory. Now, there are a few operators that are distinctly better than others when assigned to the power plant due to having a green skill. However, it's not important that you have any of these operators, because generating drones to bring back East Armory is only our secondary goal, so efficiency is not a priority. Instead, to decide which operators I put into my power plants, I randomly selected a bunch of operators and did a smash or pass, where the passes went into the power plants and the smashers into the dormitories. Regardless of which operators you put into your power plants, you will need to fill one of them with a specific operator who will become useful in just a moment. That operator is Lancet 2. Lancet 2 has a pretty bad power plant skill that increases drone recovery speed by only 10%, but this is not why we need Lancet. To explain that, we're going to have to make our way to the control center. The control center is the heart of the Arknight's base. Leveling up this facility unlocks new floors that allow you to build out your entire base, so this facility is top priority for upgrades. Many of you are probably lazy, and as such have your control center set up in this fashion. You have all 4 of the Rainbow Six collaboration operators, and your choice of Amiya or Swire to boost trading post efficiency. However, in case you didn't notice, our base doesn't have any trading posts. This means that the control center is actually a lot simpler to set up, because we only need 1 non-limited operator. That operator is Eunectus. Well, technically you'll need 2 operators, because this is where Lancet 2 comes in. You see, Eunectus has the control center ability, I've got this. When this operator is assigned to the control center, if Lancet 2 is assigned to a power plant count +2. Now hold on a minute. Why do we need 11 power plants in our base? Well, obviously it's because we need power. What for? Well, you see, there's actually one more thing I need to explain. The reason why we need 11 power plants in our base is related to our base assistant setup, which comprises the following: Aescarp, Lightsey, Elysium, and Liscam. All 4 of these operators have been hand-picked because of their affinity for electricity and power. Aes loves to get shocked at every opportunity, to the point of asking other electric-type operators to shock him, so his body is surely ready. Lightsey has mastered a technique of lightning-related arts known as Lei Fa that is as much a deterrent to her enemies as it is useful for our purposes here. As an unrelated side note, I would definitely let Lightsey thunderclap me. Elysium has gained a reputation at Rhodes Island for being one of the powerful DP batteries extensively used by many doctors. The only reason why I didn't put Myrtle here is because she was too busy winning the World Championship. Lastly, we have Liscam, who is well known for her ability to charge her fellow operators' skills and for her affinity for lightning-based arts. I asked Franca if she had any objections and she ended up personally escorting the scum to the control center. But now with our power at maximum capacity, finally it is time to answer once and for all what exactly we need all this terrifying power for. In our last assistant slot is the answer to this very question. I need all this power because it's necessary to evolve my null into her final form. And oh, would you look at that, you've come at just the right time to witness history being made.
光あれ! Ah, 準備はできている.
Ah, so radiant. And that's it from me. I hope you learned something about the Arknight's base. If you did, please subscribe and remember, stay based.
Just a simple prank then, Doctor.